Ring, ring, ring. The phone rings, you answer it, you hit it within 3 rings, you take them through the perfect greeting, you go through the entire Leasing University system, you understand their wants and needs, you set the appointment, they show up on time, and they bring a friend or a family member. And it's the type of friend or family member, you know the one that I'm talking about, the one that doesn't say anything and then silently kills your lease later on. Hey everybody, I'm Matt Easton, the founder of Leasing University, and today I want to talk about just that exact scenario. So I was doing a live training event in Virginia yesterday. This came up. I want to review with you a really great way to handle that friend or family member. This is that person, they're not going to be financially involved in the lease. They're not putting their name on the lease. They're not even helping with the rent. But you know, as soon as they get in the car, they're going to have all types of things to say about your unit, about you, the leasing consultant, about your property. And 9 times out of 10, they're not good things. 9 times out of 10, that friend or family member has an agenda. They've got a mission. They want your prospect to probably live at their property, or they want your prospect to live at the property that they picked out. So we've got to talk about a way today of how to get that person involved while they're in front of you, get them engaged, get them interacting with you while they're there on property, because I'm going to be honest with you, if you don't handle them during the tour, that friend or family member is going to handle your lease for you when they say those words of, hey, I need to think about it. What that's code for, I need to get in the car and talk to Karen about what she thinks, and if she says this is a bad deal, I'm never going to call you back again. All right, so we were in Virginia and this came up, and it actually was Karen, was the friend's name. Leasing consultant says to me, Matt, we're going through our handling objections point. She says, man, weird one yesterday, lost a lease. I thought everything went well. The tour was great. There was a few objections. I think I did a pretty good job of handling them. It seemed like it was the perfect home for my prospect, but she had this friend, Karen. Karen wasn't saying a lot. And they ended up leaving. She said she had to think about it. And my prospect called me back. She says, hey, it's Lisa. You know, I talked about it with Karen, and I'm going to go ahead and keep looking. Karen's got some ideas that she wants to show me, and I'll get back to you if I can't find anything else that's that fits. You know she's not calling back. All right, so here's how we handle that. We have to get in front of that person. Of course, that person, they're not putting their name on the lease, all right? So they're not officially a prospect. They're not offering to pay any of the rent either. So guess what? They're just giving their valuable information. So a great way to handle this, and these are my notes from the live event yesterday, what we wrote down as a great script with Karen is, Karen, with this apartment at this rent, knowing what you know about the real estate market and knowing what you know about Lisa, what advice would you give Lisa about this apartment and the fairness of the rent, the fairness of the figures, the availability? What advice would you give Lisa? Why do we want to ask Karen that right in front of Lisa, the prospect? You may say to yourself, well, then Karen's going to say everything she doesn't like about it. Not so true. In being that 9 times out of 10 when they get in the car, they're going to have bad things to say about the property. If you confront them right there face to face, 9 times out of 10, they're going to have good things to say. Let's think about Karen's agenda. Karen wants to be an expert. Karen wants to be a good friend. Karen wants to be perceived as somebody that can really help her friend and give her good advice. Well, when we don't coach them, Karen's good advice is going to be, oh, well, you should look at my place. By asking that question the way that we ask it, what we're doing is we're flushing out Karen. We're flushing out the second party. And if Karen really thinks you should live at the towers over where I live, we might as well get it out in front of us so that we can handle that. Well, Karen, talk to me about why you think she should live at the towers. And we can go through, there's a whole Leasing University course on that. But we at least need to flush out that objection first. Then we can go into our Leasing University how to handle objection system. We're also preventing Karen from killing our deal behind our back. We know that as soon as they get in the car, Karen's going to have all kinds of opinions. So let's get those opinions out in front of us. We're getting Karen to communicate with us. And when we communicate with Karen, we're building respect, we're building rapport. And every time that we address Karen, every time we're positive with Karen, every time we look Karen in the eyes and talk directly with her, her agenda starts to go more in our favor. Her likelihood that she's going to say bad things about us behind our back is going to be reduced tremendously. We actually turn Karen into an asset. Karen probably ends up saying, first of all, we know Karen doesn't know anything about the market. Who does? Unless you're a leasing consultant or you just happen to lease an apartment every 3 months of your life, you don't know what's going on in the market right now, today, with rents. So Karen's expertise isn't that great. So when we put it that way of, hey Karen, knowing what you know, Karen gets to say, oh, I'm an expert. And she's gonna say, well, I think it's a great deal, Matt. Hey, Lisa, you know what? The more I think about it, Matt, it is a good deal. And I really like the view, and you should do it. Or, you know what? I think it's a good deal. I like the view, but you should also check out towers. Well, then we can handle that as well. So that is a great way for you to handle those friends and family members, the ones that are not going to be on the lease, the ones that are not paying the rent, is just simply say, hey, Karen, with this apartment at this rent, knowing what you know about the real estate market and knowing Lisa as you know her, what advice would you give Lisa about this apartment? What advice would you give her on the rent? What advice would you give her on the fairness of the figures? Just get it all out. Ask them that. Try it. It's going to help. It's going to get you leases. I already got a call from the leasing consultant at the live event saying that tool that she's already used it and it worked out perfectly. Hey, I encourage you to subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. It's loaded with tips that are going to help anyone out there in property management close more leases and get more done in less time with less effort. And until the next video, I'm Matt Easton, your friend in leasing and life. Be great and get those leases. The way people rent apartments has changed. Today's renter has access to more information. Today's renter has more choices. The apartment industry needs you. Studies have shown that moving is the most stressful life event. The old sales training, well, it just doesn't work today. I'd like to teach you how to take the stress out of leasing apartments in a way that's meaningful to you and your renters and get you 7 times more leases. I'll show you how the perfect leasing process works. I'm gonna walk you through everything from answering the phone to closing the lease. I'm gonna show you how to determine your prospects' wants and their needs so that you can build value in your apartments. You will learn how to handle any objection or complaint. I'm gonna show you how to connect with your renter so it's easy for them to rent with you. I've taught the best property management companies and thousands of people just like you how to lease apartments. Property management is complicated. I'll simplify it for you. There's more competition than ever before. I'm gonna show you how to be number one. All of a sudden, your career, it's gonna make perfect sense. Even if you've never worked in sales or property management before. And for the advanced property manager, I'm gonna show you how to take things to the next level. Leasing University is a new, simple, step-by-step process that's effective. We're gonna help you become a rock star in property management. I'm Matt Easton, and this is Leasing University.